when we use the word my friend Bob, Bob is a real friend of mine. And he used to have a nursery or a farm very close to where I live. Name of the channel is My Friend Bob, but since you've seen Bob so many times, it should be Our Friend Bob. So Bob Emberg is here.
And I'm Bob.
How do you then stay informed? One thing is by experimentation, but experimentation is a longer process.
I still have a pretty good library of reference material. I keep up with the seed catalogs that come out, checking out the new varieties. Again,
He was the reason for some of these things. Bob is a great teacher to me. He has taught me a lot when it comes to gardening.
today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about seed potatoes. They have to be prepared in a special way for planting. First, you want to find them. You don't want to use potatoes from the grocery store. You want to go and find potatoes which have been certified disease-free. If you fail, you learn. So you really, don't be afraid to try different things. But you see how they start to callus over? The edges will start to dry a little bit. This is the Yukon Gold.
He's my encyclopedia. When I need something, I call him or text him and I get the answer about gardening. The farm he had was a family farm, which his father started. We are with Bob again today.
Hello there all.
We are at his old farm. He still owns it. He does not utilize it as he used to. Actually, it's before COVID even, his business was going down. And I just wanted to help him somehow. My original background is in technology. So I told Bob that let me work and create. He had a website. I said, let me revamp it and improve it. And let's figure out some technology solutions, how to improve your business. We kept on talking, but really nothing happened. And eventually one day I realized that Bob was about to close his business. Not only that made me sad, but that was a place where I would go and hang around. So I lost that also. I did not lose a friend, but I did lose a place where I can just go anytime and go and say hi. By 2021, I already started thinking about it to start something that what I've learned in life and put it on YouTube. I will just do it because it looks beautiful. That wheelbarrow is black gold. Now Jan is trying something new. So but 22, I started gathering a team. We have a team of 4 people right now, which includes me. One person helped me with all the handling of the, if you want to call it a business side, because there's a lot when you have teams goes along with it. So she takes care of that. She takes care of all the research which goes into our website, research sometimes which goes into our videos.
My friend Bob, it's been an amazing journey. As a researcher and writer, I feel deeply grateful for every challenge faced, every lesson learned, and content that resonated with our audience. To everyone who believed in us and our vision, this success is ours to share.
And she manages everybody. Then we have a gentleman who does our video editing.
Hi everyone, I'm managing and editing videos for our channel, My Friend Bob. I hope you're enjoying the knowledge that we are giving in our YouTube channel. That is about gardening, cooking, and some more exciting stuff that we can do in our garden. We started recently 1 Minute with Bob series and also did pepper series in which we grow our own modest to sweetest peppers in our own garden.
And then we have a 4th person who does all the graphics.
I'm a graphic designer at My Friend Bob's YouTube channel. I specialize in making YouTube thumbnails, some social media posts, and storytellers. My goal is to make pictures speak, using my creativity to convey stories and emotions. Here we use the gifs in our storytelling in a way that resonates and engages our audience. Join us as we explore the art of visual communication and bring stories to life.
So with this small team, which has actually changed over the years. Last year we had a different team. But when we started in 22, the thought was to do a channel about what I like doing. So some of my passions are Cooking is one. Chop some vegetables. Mixture medley of many things. Mushrooms, bell pepper. What else do I have? Then if I use powder, garlic and ginger, always like. I had some leftover bell pepper. I'm using it since I had it. And some onion. So again, part of my ingredients, fennel. Just for the flavor. Rice, basmati, typically they'll use in Punjab. Gur or jaggery. And a bit of oil. I follow some people, they believe in not using ginger and garlic at the same time. They think 2 cardamoms with the seeds go in. I'll wait for a few minutes just for the smell. Pineapples are caramelizing already. Seen in Turkish culture, I've seen in some of the Arab cultures that they do it. The base flavor of this dish is really onion, sweetness of the onion and yogurt. I've got roughly 2 pounds of beef. What I'm about to do is a couple of chilies that I picked from outside. So I'll put it in this machine. Coriander, don't have to. Pepper flakes, regular hot chili. So let me make all of them. So the kofta is done. You can see it over here. Let's start cooking a bit. The roasted chicken today. And this is different because I don't have chicken in my backyard, even though I wish I could. You don't need to. You can have a whole chicken, you can have chicken legs, you can have drumsticks, whatever you want. You can even do it with a boneless chicken breast or anything. I'll let it steam for a couple of minutes. I'll put it in the oven. I have a conventional and convection oven. Gardening is one. Actually, cooking is my passion. Gardening happened because of cooking. It's not the other way around. We'll start from one corner. I'll add at least 2 peppers each. Keep on going from one corner to the other. Then there is a raised garden, I'll go there. And then there are 2 raised gardens over there. A superfood typically like berries, broccoli and some others, which forms on the surface is what we call a rhizome that we eat. And on top are the greens, which again is a stem. So a rhizome typically has green on top and roots on bottom. So in the United States, there are 13 zones. One is the coldest and 13 is the warmest. Now, without going too much into other technical details, let's see something else. We might not have a hungry gap in the United States, but in northeast United States, what we do have is starting in January all the way to end of March, we can't really grow anything outside. Yes, if you have specialized conditions like a greenhouse, growing inside, hydroponics, you can do that. But growing old-fashioned backdoor gardening, you really can't do that. A grow bag, which has started become more and more common around where we live. These have been famous since almost since we started figuring out how to make plastic. Before I get into terracotta, because these plastic ones are made to look like terracotta. These raised gardens are done using ecoculture. I've done multiple videos about it. Go watch them. Then I also like to go out and experience different things. Now, with gardening also, I started another habit of making my own fermentations, sauces, spices, you name it. But what you do right now is start picking the fruit of your labor and start doing things with it. Thai chili pepper that we just picked. And this is what we have. You just need a salt, which is salt, no additives. First thing we'll do to our chili peppers is to take this green part off. Chops, you can go smaller like this. Look at this plant. There are so many peppers that it's upside down. You saw the chili peppers we picked. I mentioned to you earlier that Bob makes that with habanero. You're doing with a different pepper today. Talking about something which is 50,000 compared to when Bob uses habanero, which is 500,000.
And we're going to have to make a few other adaptations to that. We'll still use our sugar, apple cider vinegar, carrots is a big part of it. We will change and use a yellow bell pepper. It takes about 3 to 4 hours really to set up. Kind of liking the color.
Oh, the color is beautiful actually. So we started from these peppers. This is the color we found, and as Bob was showing you,
It's a good thing in the garden to experiment a little bit. You don't want to go too much.
a bit of achar happening already. They are creating a sweetness which is very tomatoey, and the super spicy ghost pepper is ghost pepper. So in the end, making this sauce took me almost 6 hours. Our motto when we started was about and around with me, things that I generally like to do. I don't know what happens now. We're going to a nursery called Gasco's. I can introduce you to the place and show you how you should help your local family-run businesses.
Charlie Palmer Steakhouse. Widescreen, you can see where we will see the ball drop from. So this will be a lot of interest. So that's the inside of the place we're at. If you look at the ball, I don't know if you can tell the difference or not. It has moved slowly lower.
We started 2024 by saying goodbye to 23. We did start the year with cooking, what we call our rice series. Doing this series on making different kind of rice series. We're trying to do this whole series about rices. Dal chawal. An Urdu word. Dal means lentils and chawal means rice. Part of our series where I'm trying to do different rices. I'll cook a rice which is actually very famous in Pakistan especially, but certain parts of India also. In our this series about making different rices, we'll do a rice today which you would call a poor man's dessert. And some of these things are quite interesting, from savory like pilau to sweet like something with gur, and even kheer. If you are into cooking, you might want to watch it. Before we actually moved into, I also have a couple of small hydroponic systems. So we talked about it just to inspire people, because everybody who's into gardening, comes winter and the people who live in a region like us where it snows, they get bored. So what I figured out was that having some hydroponic systems helps. You must have heard the word hydroponic. It's a very good way of growing vegetables, hydroponic planters, that has been going on for a few months. Plug this in. Here is our 1 week update. Hydroponics, yeah, there's an initial cost to it. A spicy basil. Everything started germinating. It does come to that you can save or use everything. So let us check our progress after 2 weeks. We are at the 2-week mark. After 19 days, this is where we are. This indicator is right now telling me that it needs water. When it comes to gardening, we did a couple of new experiments this year also. We tried growing ginger and turmeric for the very first time, so that was a new experience. Both ginger and garlic are used in culinary, medicinal. They're both used in powder form and in dry form. And the fun bit is you can eat the rhizome and you can eat the greens also. The experiment I'm about to do is I'll put one in an area where you get light all day, but not direct sunlight. And I'll put 1 or 2, depending how I figure it out, in a region where I got 8 to 10 hours of light and see the difference, what I get. We'll discuss about 2 herbs that are called superfoods. I did go and picked up one or the two rhizomes, and I'm not too happy. We have done potatoes before, but we tried potatoes a bit differently this year.
You should always try something new. They had one called fingerlings there that I wanted to try, but I think this is enough. Usually I want to look for 2 or 3 eyes.
First of all, we just did 2 different kinds of potatoes. This year we're doing 6 different kinds of potatoes.
After you cut them, prepare them, you want to let them set out.
We've been experimenting with potatoes for some years now. Good and bad, every year is different. What is the thought about potatoes this year?
This was a decent year, I think. I tried several different varieties. I did Adirondack Blue, we did Chieftain Red, and Yukon Gold. And I did a lot of them in containers, and I had a fairly good yield. The problem was up in Pennsylvania, I didn't get up there to water a lot during the last part of the summer, so they must have stressed. But most of them did pretty good, and I'm looking forward to do that again. I probably won't do as many. I'd like to definitely do the Yukon Gold. The Adirondack Blue was great, but they really didn't produce as well as I would have liked. And the Chieftain, the Red, always does fairly well. So I look forward to doing more of that in the containers next year.
We do herb garden every year, so we did that also. With herbs, we human beings have been using them in our kitchens, in our culinary environments for a very long time. Herbs, there are some that you use towards the start of the cooking, and then you sprinkle on it. Parsley does not have too much flavor. If you have a raised garden and put thyme towards the end of it, and it will fall down and it will just make it look beautiful. We tried to do something different this year. So what we did was we visited other gardens. We visited 2 of Bob's gardens, one in New Jersey, one in Pennsylvania.
Friends, I'm Bob. I thank you for watching this. It's given me a lot of pleasure to make it, and I'm hoping it's giving you some thought and good times to watch it.
Bob, tell us about the farm.
The farm is located in Central Jersey. My grandfather had moved out in the late 50s, mid 50s to this area and purchased the farm. He worked with my father and my uncle. My uncle passed away in the mid 70s. My father took over the whole area. So I started working for him, well, much younger. It was a family business, so you started working on the farm very young. When I got out of school, I continued working at the farm, and I ended up taking over the garden center probably in the mid to late 80s completely, and we ran it right up till 5 years ago.
I'll show you the goods and bads and the pains of gardening. Bob, you want to talk about it?
You see the squash over here, they hit very hard. Deer just roam free. The crazy groundhogs, rabbits, even chipmunks do a lot of damage to a garden. I have potatoes, are just about finishing up. You can see they're starting to yellow a little bit. I have zucchini, big problem with containers, and even with me after years of growing, I planted too close and too much.
For the color which is happening right now, how many weeks away do you think we are?
I would think 2.
One thing you would have heard Bob saying and me saying a lot also, next year, that's the life of a gardener.
Always thinking ahead. As I said, we're coming down to the end of 2024, and it's been a fairly decent year. We had a lot of stuff done, and I look forward to 2025. I've already had the seed catalogs out. I've put a number of seed orders in.
We went to a friend of ours, Guy. We looked at his small garden, which produces a lot. We have a friend today with us. His name is Guy Lazari. What I do see, I see some fig trees, I see grapevine in the back, and I think peaches.
I got a peach tree.
Peaches over here.
I got apple trees.
Guy is about to show us something about how to replicate or how to from one plant make more. But wherever you have some shade, use that area.
I've seen guys put lettuce in between rows of tomato plants. Brilliant. So again, limited with space. Why not put some basil in with the fig tree? This was a cutting that I made. I run a business. I come out here a couple minutes in the morning. On a nice evening, I'll come out here, pitter around, and you know, this is enough for me right now.
Guy, by profession, is into trimming of trees, and nowadays he does ornamental trees. So we did bring him to pick his brain how to look after your fruit trees.
So we're going to be talking about how to prune for fruit. Most important with apple trees is you want to prune them in a pyramid shape so you get equal distribution of sunlight. It's a little off color, okay?
It has to be darker.
I would say you need a bigger pot. So this is an old wound here.
Then one of the aims for this year was to grow different chili peppers. A bell pepper, which is a 0 SHU. Chili pepper series, we're talking about last pepper, which is bell pepper. The history of bell pepper is rich and varied, tracking back to their origins in Central and South America, which was cultivated by indigenous people thousands of years ago. They were domesticated first some 5,000 years ago. All the way we went to Carolina Reaper. Different chili peppers that I'm planting, and I'm going from the sweetest to the hottest that I can find. So in this shot, we'll talk about the hottest pepper that we have planted, Carolina Reaper. Funny story about it, this was the hottest pepper for almost 10 years. The gentleman who created this pepper or invented or developed it, Ed Curry was his name. He's the one who invented the one which is hotter than that. Last but not least, we started a new experiment which we just started. We're calling it 1 Minute with Bob. Bob, tell us about sandy soil.
With sand is a large particle. It's a good medium to use, but it's not the best because it's not hold a lot of nutrient, and silty soils dry quickly because of the air. They're almost powdery because it's such a smaller particle. Again, not a lot of nutrient. You might find it in a riverbed. Peat is very retentive of moisture. It holds a lot of moisture. So if you get into a wet season, you're not going to be able to lose that moisture. Peat you could grab and squeeze out.
And this year, we will do more videos on different subjects. And this is where, if you are interested, put a comment down. If you have a question for Bob, ask over here, and we will try to get you an answer.
And yeah, this sort of wraps things up for 2024. Again, it's been very enjoyable doing these, and I hope you enjoy them just as much. And again, any thoughts of anything you'd like us to cover, please shout out.
2024, a lot of lessons learned. One thing which I learned, I don't have the habit of checking the pH balance of my soils. And I do think that's a big mistake that I keep on making. So going forward in this year, because we have a lot of raised gardens, each raised garden has a different soil and is from a different time period also. Some I have built, some I have bought and just put them together. And they have been done over years. So the soil amendments in all of them are a bit different from each other. What I want to do this year, go a bit more scientific and make a point to check pH balance of each raised garden and accordingly plant things. As I say goodbye to 2024, and I'm about to say goodbye to you, please like our video, subscribe our channel, and we'll see you soon. Happy 2025. Thank you.